Okay, we just have a ton to unpack today, and I happen to be solo. I'm sure Drew will eventually find bail money and be back with us, but that is not today. I don't know. There's so many different places I want to start, but I guess I want to get this out of the way now before I forget. Cartoons Williston, get your auto start. It's now below zero on and off, and it will be for the rest of the winter. So you may as well get your auto start, get it going. I'm telling you, you're going to have a better quality of life if you don't have an auto start now and you get one. It's just it's a good thing. It's really that simple. Cartoons, Williston, Mondak Hardware. Only if you want them to help you find what you need and get out of there right away. If you like wandering around aimlessly, then probably Mondak is not the hardware place for you. But if you just want to get in and out with what you came for, then definitely go to Mondak Hardware because they're going to help you find it and they're going to actually be helpful. So there we go. Legends Off Road. They'll do anything for you, man. They'll put a windshield in your vehicle. They will wrap your vehicle if you have a business or you just want your vehicle to be like hot pink or something. They can do all that. Lifts, and they print a pretty darn good sign. And I just saw one the other day that they printed, and it's actually pretty darn amazing. So there we go. Legends Off Road, and of course, My Pillow and More. Come and check out all of the mattresses, and then, of course, everything that Mike Lindell has to offer as far as My Pillow. Really quick, speaking of Mike Lindell, here we go. My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell announces a campaign for Minnesota governor. Lindell, a Trump backer who promoted debunked allegations about the 2000 elections or the 2020 elections, has been embroiled in defamation suits, joins a crowded Republican field. Let me see here. A longtime backer of President Donald Trump, and again, spread debunked conspiracy theories about the 2020 presidential election, announced Thursday that he'll run for governor in Minnesota next year. Those who know me know I'm up to the task, Lindell said during a speech delivered on his platform Thursday morning. Let's unpack this just a little bit with everything going on in Minnesota. Whether he runs again or not, obviously Tim Walz he's out of the question. Nobody's going to vote for him now because what's going to happen pretty soon is as they dig into this more and it gets closer and closer to maybe fraud or somebody trying to pin something on him, he's going to start throwing everybody under the bus, and uh, he'll probably get out of it clean, but he's going to make a lot of people mad. So he's pretty much done. Can Mike Lindell win? Um, I, I'd vote for him because he's a real guy. He's been through it all. He's made millions, he's lost millions, he's battled drug addiction in the past, and I don't know how many years clean he is now, but obviously years and years and years he's been clean, but he's been through the gamut. And you kind of need a guy like that. You really do. It's kind of, and he's kind of the same as why everybody voted for Trump, because you want something different. You want somebody that's real, even though they're flawed, but at least they're real. And that's why Donald Trump is our president today. And that's why I think Mike Lindell, he may have a shot at this because people are tired. They're tired of the same old thing. They're tired of just going on and on and on. And no matter who they vote for, it's the same thing. It's a different story, but it's the same outcome. It's the same outcome every time, and people are sick of it. And I know there's a lot of people that are sick of it in Minnesota specifically because of all of the fraud that's been happening for years. So we'll see how that turns out. But I'm excited for him, and I hope he does well because I've always liked him. I liked him even way back in the day when he was just a pitch man pitching his My Pillow, and you'd see half-hour infomercials at midnight and 1 in the morning. I would always watch him because I don't know, I kind of like the guy. He always kind of made me giggle a little bit. So we'll see how that turns out. That was one of the stories that I did want to get to right away. One thing before I forget, I need to talk about this. Drew and I have a young friend. We've mentioned it before. We have a young friend who, well, he's in a lot of trouble. He's got a very aggressive form of cancer. Where he was being treated in North Dakota, they told him to go home. They couldn't do anything for him. So he went to Mexico for some alternative treatment. I don't know how that turned out yet, but here's what I do know. The guy's got two young boys, and he's a boy himself. I don't think he's 25 years old, and he's a good kid. He's always worked hard, man. And if you could hear his story, you'd shed a tear. This kid has been through it, and he's just a trooper. And again, he's a hard worker, and he's a loyal person, and he's a loyal friend, and we just want to help him. So if you can donate anything, get a hold of Drew, get a hold of myself. The best way actually to do this would be really, for now anyway, just stop by the My Pillow and More store, 910 42nd Street West, just up the road from Walmart. Just swing in. Anybody working would be happy to take a check, a cashier's check, cash, whatever you have, and um, by early in next week, there will be a bank account in his name. Drew has been working on setting that up so we can get all this money into an account for him. And nobody is taking a fee. Nobody, 100%, every single penny is going to this kid. There's no admin fees. There's no percentages being taken out. This isn't your standard 501c3 where 14 people work there and make $100,000 a year, and by the time the money gets to the kids, it's like 10 or 12% left. That is not what this is. This is 100%. Anybody helping with this is donating their time to set all this up and get it going. So if there's anything you can do this holiday season, and yeah, I'm sure the boys got gifts. Well, as a matter of fact, I know they did, and I'm going to get into that in the next segment. But that doesn't pay the rent and make sure that their heat's not turned off and buy groceries because this kid is not going to be able to work anytime soon. And we all know how long it would take to get on any kind of disability or anything like that. And the kid's he's up against a clock. He's up against more than one clock, as a matter of fact. He was in Mexico, and he told me, I talked to him on the phone. He told me, he goes, Eric, I'm just trying to buy some time. And that's pretty sad to be able to say that when you're in your early 20s. And that's how you have to think about, I just trying to buy some time so he can make sure that his boys are set up and that type of thing. When we come back, we're going to talk about a seized oil tanker and some other stuff. And we got to take a break right now. KTGO 1090 and 92.7 The Flag. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. There is a story out of McKenzie County, North Dakota, and I could read you the story, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go this way with it right here. Hold on. And here we go. There we go. So that just tells you a lot right there about the people in our area. Now think about that. It's a multi million dollar 850 acre solar farm. And we said, no, thank you, which makes me really happy. I mean, think about that 850 acres of grazing land. And they just want to take it for a solar farm. We have plenty of power here, people. We have more power here than we know what to do with, as a matter of fact. We have natural gas. We have coal. Not too far from here, we have hydroelectric. Why are we trying to put a solar farm in North Dakota? It doesn't make any sense. And yes, there's a lot of sunshine here. There definitely is. I mean, Williston gets a lot more sunshine than even southern states sometimes. Now, obviously, it's cold in the winter. It's beautiful in the summer, but it's cold in the winter. But you can't just take 850 acres of farmland or ranch land and turn it into a solar farm. It's absolutely it's idiocy to think that anybody would want that here. Why? I mean, I understand why the company would try because obviously they want to build their solar farm somewhere. Why wouldn't you build your solar farm down south in the desert of New Mexico or Utah or California? Why wouldn't you build it there? You get plenty of sunshine, and and a lot of that land is pretty much unusable. It's desert. It's barren. That's where you need to put an 850 acre solar farm. You don't want to you don't want to take 850 acres of prime American farmland or ranch land, grazing land. Why would you want to take that away? And pretty much forever. I mean, 20 years, 40 years, however long that solar farm is going to be there. It just, to me, it's absolute nonsense that anybody would even want that. I'm curious to know what people that live in North Dakota actually did want a solar farm, because I mean, you're going to have one maintenance crew, maybe two maintenance crews, or something like that, to keep it maintained. Yeah, it's going to take a couple years to build it, so you're going to get a little bit of work out of that. Uh, but I don't know why. Just punch a hole, and you've got all the power you ever need from natural gas. That's all you got to do. I mean, you can uh, uh, punch a hole and frack the crude out of it, and you've got plenty of power. Now you're talking about a pad that's what, an eighth of an acre instead of 850 acres. I don't know. I find it to be complete and utter nonsense that anybody would ever want that. Okay, I'm going to switch gears. We did, and I say we, unfortunately, this year, excuse me, I was not involved because I had other obligations, but this is the first year in 6 years that I haven't been involved, 5 years maybe, in the toy and food drive that we have every year at the Walmart parking lot on Second Avenue in Williston. And um, it was good. It wasn't as good as years past because, well, the weather was just foul. It was windy and it was cold and it was snowing. And obviously, that is going to take a toll on some of the turnout. Now, depending on how the weather was in the rest of the state, I haven't, actually looked that up, but there's a darn good chance that Williston still outdid Bismarck, Minot, and Fargo, because we do every year. This little town absolutely kicks tail when it comes to uh, this toy and food drive, and it's law enforcement, the state patrol, local PD, sheriff's department. They're all involved, and it's really a cool deal. And I was sad to miss it because even though it was cold and windy and snowy and nasty, it was probably a whole bunch of fun, because it has been in the past. Even when it was cold, we had a great time. We just jump in a truck and warm up it. Um, but I do want to thank Red Rock Ford, because they put the trucks out there for everybody to fill up. So the back of all of those trucks that got filled up, probably 8 or 10 got filled up. They all came from Red Rock Ford here in Williston. So we appreciate that very much. And again, that's how I know that this kid I'm talking about, his young boys, that's how I know that they're going to be fine for Christmas when it comes to Santa Claus. But it's still not going to be a very good Christmas if they don't have heat, or they are living outside, or something like that. So if you could swing down to My Pillow and More and drop off anything, $5, it's a cup of coffee. I think everybody in earshot right now should take the few minutes as you're driving past and just go ahead and drop off a 5 spot, a 10 spot, whatever you can. We would appreciate it, and this kid deserves it. We have to take a break. When we come back, well, I don't know. There's actually quite a bit of stuff we're going to talk about. Uh, oh, the seizure in Venezuela. There we go. KTGO 1090 and 92.7 the flag. Hold on. Okay, 3 seconds. Save. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. Okay, we are back. This is a fun one here. U.S. seizes sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, Trump says. Let me see here. The U.S. has seized a sanctioned oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. President Donald Trump said on Wednesday, a move that sent oil prices higher and sharply escalated tensions between Washington and Caracas. We've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, large tanker, very large, largest one ever, actually. That's funny. and and other things are happening, said Trump, who has been pressuring Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to step down. Well, obviously, there's a little bit more in this article. I don't need it. The question is why why are we picking on Venezuela? There's a whole bunch of different reasons flying around out there, but we don't know. We don't know why. What do you think? Why do you think we are pressuring Venezuela? I've heard that we want their oil, but I mean, yeah, they've got some oil, but I don't think enough for us to invade a country. And we haven't invaded anything yet, and I think it would be a bad idea to invade because you've got all kinds of uh, militias and guerrillas. Those are huge borders, bordering some of those other countries. Like 1,000-mile border. And if you've got a bunch of crazy guerrillas that are getting paid, I think it would be bad to actually walk in and step foot with our troops into Venezuela. But why do we want a regime change? Is it the oil and other natural resources? I doubt it. My opinion, which doesn't mean anything, obviously, but my opinion is Maduro is really in bed with the Chinese. And now you have Chinese in the Americas, air quote, not North America, but in the Americas. And that's probably, well, I know that's obviously bad for America. You don't want the Chinese running anything down there. Definitely. Just like, for a while they were running the Panama Canal. Trump stopped that. And rightfully so. That's actually crazy. So when it comes to Venezuela, if their president happens to be in bed with them for financial gain, which I think is the case, that gets a little dangerous for the United States. So I think a regime change. It depends on how we go about it. We don't want to get too cocky because obviously now Russia, they're piping up and going, hey, we like the Venezuelans, leave them alone. And then of course, obviously, China is spending a ton of money on Venezuela and in Venezuela. So I mean, it has to be done properly, but if we planted our own president, if you will, and they have somebody lined up, obviously, to take that country, well, then China would be kicked out. Excuse me. A little dust in here today. Then China obviously would have to go. And then they could take themselves right back where they came from. So to me, that is probably what the Trump administration is thinking. I don't know. I mean, I could be way off base here. I could be so far off base that you all think that I'm just not very smart, which I'm not. But I still think I'm correct. So we will move on from that because there's one more story that I do want to talk about this segment because we have time. Now, this one is kind of awesome. So let me see here. There we go. Right there. There we go. All righty. So look at this, people. USDA approves North Dakota SNAP waiver against sugary food and drink. So food choice waiver, no soft drinks, no sugary foods, starting in September. So that is kind of a big deal. Let me see here. Big changes are coming to the SNAP program in North Dakota. Junk food will be banned starting in September. The USDA approved North Dakota's food choice waiver on Wednesday. This waiver will lead to better health outcomes and quality of life for North Dakotans who participate in SNAP, said Governor Kelly Armstrong. Let me see here. Soft drinks and other sugary items will no longer be available on SNAP benefits. The waiver is part of a federal initiative to encourage people to make more nutritious food choices. The SNAP waiver encourages North Dakotans to make more nutritious food choices that not only reduce chronic disease rates, but also foster long-term health, vitality, and stronger communities, said Pat Traynor, North Dakota Health and Human Services, the commissioner. So there we go. Let me see. North Dakota HHS says more than 29,000 households use SNAP, covering more than 58,000 people in North Dakota. That I don't know. That I guess it doesn't surprise me that there's 58,000 people that rely on SNAP in the state of North Dakota. I mean, if you think about it, that's when you go to, and I know we have a very small population here, but when you're talking about millions and millions of people in California and Washington State and Oregon and New York, places like that, bigger cities. But I like it, and I think Governor Armstrong definitely uh, made the right choice there by making that happen. Because if you ever go to any kind of videos, YouTube or TikTok or whatever other platforms there are out there, I don't use a bunch of them. Uh, Facebook, I guess, and you see these videos of these people using their Snap card and their grocery carts are just loaded with junk and almost no real food. You see it time after time, just loaded with potato chips and cookies and candy and soda and all of this nonsense. And I am not opposed to Snap at all. And Drew and I have talked about this, well, actually, many times. Neither one of us are opposed to SNAP. If somebody needs it, they need it. You've got to eat. I mean, we should be able to take care of Americans. But they but when these people are that are on SNAP, and who knows, maybe they're just lazy and they don't want to work, right? Well, but now their kids suffer because all their kids are eating are potato chips and junk food and sugar and nonsense. And then the kids have all these problems. They have all these problems with their teeth, and they have all these problems with diabetes, uh, and different things like that. And it creates health problems in the future, which costs us more money. So not only are we paying for SNAP, now we've got to pay for all of these bad choices that these people made, and we don't have to pay for that today, but uh, we will someday. So I am absolutely on board with Governor Armstrong with this one. I think it's absolutely amazing. If you disagree, well, send me an email, downshiftradio@gmail.com. Okay, we're going to take a break, and I don't know what I want to talk about when we come back. I haven't decided yet, but we'll be back in just a couple minutes, and we'll definitely get that figured out. KTGO 1090 92.7 The Flag. Oh, three. Okay. I was really trying to refrain from talking about this, but I can't because it's absolutely getting out of hand. And I don't like it. And there's a reason that I don't like it. But what I'm talking about is everybody by now knows that Candace Owens is really going hard on the brutal assassination of Charlie Kirk. And she is obviously she's going too far, and it's getting a little wacko, I would say, but she genuinely feels like there's something wrong. Now the problem is she just can't figure out what it is. And she wants to know, and I understand why she wants to know. I really do. And I've mentioned it before, and I'm not even going to venture a guess on anything, but I will say that I am not 100% on board with the FBI's official statement on their investigation. Uh, I think it's actually silly. It's actually silly. That's what I think about what they said happened. But that's neither here nor there. So now what is happening is there because of what Candace is saying, and I'm not going to go over all of it here on air because some of it's just not really appropriate. But what Candace is saying is really freaking out a lot of the right. Uh, you have guys like Tim Pool, and if you don't know who he is a I'll use the term loosely, a right wing type of influencer. He is all over YouTube. He's all over Facebook and TikTok, and he gets millions of views on his videos. Well, like he absolutely went crazy on a video that went viral, and he was calling Candace Owens names, and he was accusing her of all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, it I mean, I'm really, really on the fence because I do think what Candace Owens is saying is over the top and just too far. But Tim Pool went way too far as well. And he's not the only one. There are a bunch of influencers on the right that are just absolutely bashing this woman, and it's really bad. And here's my point: all any of this is doing is it's dividing the right. We can't afford division. We absolutely cannot afford division. We have to be in step together because if not, we all know what's going to happen. And it's going to be a bad, bad deal here, midterms. And then, of course, in 3 years, the next presidential election. We all have to be in step because if we're not, then we're going to be endorsing different people, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath if we can't walk into again the midterms and then the election in 3 years. If we can't walk in unison, we're going to be in trouble. So we absolutely 100% need to figure out our own nonsense, put it aside, and get together. I mean, Candace Owens was a very popular person with Turning Point, and she was one of their top people, and she loved Turning Point. And now she's saying all kinds of crazy stuff, but we all have to keep in mind that she's not saying crazy stuff about Turning Point. She's saying crazy stuff about certain individuals towards and at the top of Turning Point USA. She still loves Turning Point. She still loves the idea of Turning Point USA. Now, Tim Pool, I never really liked him. I think he's a different type of guy, and I don't always agree with his opinions, and by not always, I mean almost never. To me, he's kind of a strange character, and I'm just using him for an example because lately he has absolutely exploded. But the problem is, and the bottom line that I'm trying to get to is we can't be doing all this back and forth fighting between us all. There was a time where it was Candace Owens, it was Charlie Kirk, it was Tucker Carlson, all of these guys that are now considered way out there. It wasn't long ago that they were super mainstream and everybody loved them, and and probably without people like that, Charlie Kirk, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, not so much Tim Pool, I don't think, but without those people, I'm not sure if we would have the administration that we have now. So I'm thankful for all of these people. And when when they say certain things, and then of course the media will spin it out of control because that's what the media does. It's not helping. It's not helping at all. But that's kind of that's kind of the point. We all know that most of the media out there, not a fan at all of Donald Trump or the right. So they're going to perpetuate this, but we can't be stupid enough to fall in to their trap. It's absolute nonsense. It doesn't matter what Candace says or really are. I mean, it does matter, but or what she thinks. She's trying to get to the truth. She's probably really far from it, but that's all she wants. All she wants is the truth, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Again, Tucker Carlson. I mean, he got he was kind of kicked out of Turning Point at one point. But then, Charlie kind of wanted him back, and I happen to know that's true. And then there was some fighting there, and this was all obviously before uh, before his terrible assassination, public assassination. So all I'm trying to say here is we really need to get it together, all of us, and we really need to be in unison, all on the same side. That's all I'm trying to say. And if we have problems, then we can call each other and work the problems out. But to do this in front of the media is not helping anybody. And most of them, a lot of these people are just doing it for clicks. I have to go. Uh, well, we'll see you next time. KTGO 1090 and 92.7, The Flag, Peace, Love, and Hippie Beats.